Carolyn may be the first person that you talk to, or maybe the mortgage person who may pre-approve you for the loan. I'm usually the last one. Yet, I'm going to have some impact into your mortgage if you are paying your taxes and insurance into your mortgage. I'm also going to be different as far as whatever home you may be purchasing. In this day and age of the lizard telling you to get your insurance in 15 minutes or talk to somebody on the phone that's not in another state, this is the one place that you can't do this. You need to be an active participant in this process. You need to talk to an agent. Hopefully that person is local to your area, southeastern Pennsylvania. I may live in Norristown, but I've been in Philly. I drive through Malvern. I know the area well enough that I know the homes in this area. If you're talking to somebody from another state, they don't understand the homes, the builds, and what goes into it. So usually I'm going to be the last end, and there's a lot here that what Carolyn touched on from a home inspection standpoint, a home condition standpoint, all of that leads you to whether or not your home can be insured and what you can qualify for as far as insurance is concerned. Why do you need it? Well, the first thing is that you need it to protect your investment, where you're going to live, and the bank. You have a mortgage. The bank wants to know if something happens to that home that it's going to be rebuilt. It's going to be rebuilt for you, and it's going to be rebuilt for them. For the sudden, immediate, and catastrophic, what we call perils, the things that happen, storms, tornadoes, trees falling, all of those things. That's what a peril is. Fire or lightning, theft, wind and hail, all of those things that could happen to your home that you may have to fix it. And this is the most important part, sudden, immediate, and catastrophic. It's not a maintenance plan. It's important for you to keep, things are going to happen, pipes are going to burst, that's fine. But it's important that it's sudden and immediate and catastrophic, because what's happening in the industry in Pennsylvania is everybody's rates are going up for the people that are using this as a maintenance plan and not for this type of claim. What does it cover? It covers a lot of things. One policy covers a lot. Covers your structure, the house itself, rebuilding. It can cover other structures. If you have a garage, a shed, something that's not attached to your house, a pool, a fence. It also will cover your personal property, all of your stuff, whether it's in your house or whether you're on vacation and something happens and it's stolen. Lawsuits brought against you. Maybe somebody slipped and fell on your property because ICE would have you, and they want to sue you because you didn't clear your property up. Maybe it's frivolous, maybe it's not right, but you have to be defended, and you have insurance in your homeowner's policy that will defend you and pay if you are negligent. And if for any one of these claims that may happen to you, if you can't live in your home, it'll pay for a hotel. It'll pay for an apartment while your house is being rebuilt. Okay? My parents had a kitchen claim. Water came through the bathroom into the kitchen. They couldn't eat for a week in their kitchen. They ate out. So that coverage encompasses a lot of different things.
And the insurance pay for them to eat out?
Yep, because they couldn't use their kitchen. They couldn't make it at home. So it's part of that coverage.
Wow.
How much do I need? Well, you don't have a say in this one. The insurance company has a say, okay? It'll be determined by whatever insurance company you work with. And it'll be determined based on the rebuilding cost of your home, okay? And it's all about the descriptions of the house. It will never be about market value, okay? If you have a 1,700 square foot home and it's in King of Prussia or Plymouth, it's going to cost the same to rebuild as if I took that house and I moved it all the way down the shore and put it on JFK Boulevard in Wildwood. It's the same to rebuild it. It's going to cost more in Wildwood for you to buy it. But that's the difference. We're just talking about the nuts and bolts to rebuild this house, okay? If you get 10 different insurance quotes, you're going to get 10 different numbers. Which one is right? You got to feel comfortable with the agent. I don't care if I'm higher or lower than any other insurance company on what we calculate this coverage. I care that I'm accurate. When my inspector, because we all have inspection teams that go out, that's going to check my work and look at that house and say, yep, John got it right. We can rebuild the house, and farmers can rebuild that house for what it costs. If I was working for Allstate, same thing. I just care that I'm accurate with my company. So how we calculate it, actual calculated cost to rebuild as it stands today, nuts and bolts. How many baths? Is it brick? Is it siding? Is it frame? What are those characteristics? Okay? We all use our own calculator. It's not standard throughout the industry. It's never based on market value, and you can only increase your coverage, but if you don't agree with the insurance company that you think it should be lower, you can't do it. The insurance company will not insure it for replacement cost at that point. And coverage will also be independently verified by an inspector. We all have them, we all have to answer to them. The other structures usually, whatever you have on your property not attached to your house, would be 10%. Stock pretty much through the industry. So if I got a $200,000 dwelling coverage, my garage, my shed is covered for $20,000. Same thing with personal property. It'll be a percentage of your dwelling. It'll be different for each company. All of your personal property not attached to your walls. Replacement cost. What would it cost for you to buy that today? And there are some limits on certain types. If you have a lot of jewelry, if you have expensive jewelry, you're going to want to add coverage to your policy. All policies come with some, but you may need to add it depending upon what your possessions are. Your insurance agent should ask that question of you. If not, you need to make sure that you're getting all the coverages that you think you need to have. Replacement cost only. If you own something that could appreciate in value, you should insure it separately. There are little insurance policies in your homeowners. I have a guitar. That guitar is $400. I have that guitar signed by, pick somebody, Eric Clapton. It's now $1,500. If I lose that guitar, I get $400, okay? So it's important that you have those things appraised and insured for what it could be. And then all companies will calculate whatever your dwelling is, 60 to 75%. We're not going to go through your house and go, this is going to cost this much. We're not going to calculate. We're just going to give you a stock coverage. We talked about loss of use. It's a percentage, again, of your dwelling. Loss of use is, I got to live someplace else. I got to get a hotel room. I have to eat out. I'm going to eat good. Your personal liability, if you were ever sued, okay? Here's a couple of things that we need to take a look at. If someone slipped and fell, do you own a dog? If it bites somebody, you are responsible. This is coverage that is part of your homeowner's policy. Now, here's kind of the important thing. If you have a dog, be upfront. Let your company know. Some companies will not write certain dogs. I happen to represent a company that will write all of them, as long as they haven't bitten somebody, okay? Because that can also, one, exclude your coverage. They won't insure you. Two, they may not insure the dog against the next bite. Or three, it may raise your rates. You have to, I just found this out with somebody that you have to notify the county. There's a county database, even if it's not a claim on your homeowner's insurance. Usually this is very inexpensive to raise. I usually always include $300,000. Whatever you think the market value of your home is, that's what this should be. This might cost you $20 to raise it up to $500,000. So take a look at it. This is very inexpensive to make sure that you have a lot of insurance. Frivolous or not, win or lose, you're responsible. Your insurance company's there to defend you and will pay for that. Other coverages, we call it guest medical payments. It could be med pay to others on policies. Let's say that person that slipped and fell, they're not of a mind to sue. It's not a big deal to them, but they probably paid for an ambulance. They might have a copay at the emergency room that's $75. You can be the good guy or gal and say, give me that. I'll turn that into my insurance company and we'll take care of that. Insurance companies will pay that all day long so that We don't get back to the liability where you'll be sued, okay? Important to know in some coverages, this is really starting to become a thing now in Pennsylvania, actually nationwide, that this coverage is included what is called an all-peril policy. So we talked about the structure. We all know what could happen. Wind, hail, lightning, fire, all that stuff, okay? This is the stuff that happens inside your home that most of the time is covered depending upon the policy that you have. Broken pipes, broken hot water heaters, overflows of sink, tub, and toilet. This water coverage is included in most homeowners' policies. It's important to ask. We won't cover the repair of these, but we will cover the water damage. My carpet, my furniture, my drywall, treat for mold that may possibly occur, okay? So most policies, all-encompassing homeowners policies, have this coverage. On water, though, it's important to know this. Flood damage is not. Groundwater is not. It's not covered on any policy. You can get a separate coverage for this, okay? Through the government, FEMA, they have a program for flood. Here's really important. When you start narrowing down your houses, and you should check with your real estate agent and your bank, check to see whether your house is in a flood zone. If it's in a flood zone, your mortgage company is going to make you have this. This could run $2,000 to $3,000 a year additional into your mortgage payment. Right? The water looks great from your balcony, but guess what? When it rises, you may or may not be covered, or you'll have to pay for that coverage. Extra coverages that you can think about and where you do have a choice. The first is the deductible. The deductible is how much you will pay in an insurance claim and where the insurance company will pick up. The less you want to pay, the higher your premium will be. Typically, what is now being written is about $1,000 in your deductible. When I first started in the industry about 8-9 years ago, I saw $250 deductibles. They're slowly going by the wayside, as well as $500. $500 now is the minimum. Be very careful here, because many companies do not offer you the $500 or the $1,000 deductible. They will offer you what's called a percentage of your dwelling coverage. Whatever the calculated dwelling is, let's go back to that $200,000 home. If you have a 1% deductible, your deductible is $2,000. That's what you are paying out of pocket, or 2%. I've seen this. This is starting to become the industry standard. Why? Because we're having weather like we've never had over the last 8 years. Sandy, okay? Irene before that. Think about the cold, the winter that we just had, that one big snowstorm. What's happening is rates are going up, and insurance companies are responding by either one, raising the rates, or restricting your options in coverage of what they will cover and how much it will cost. Sewer and drain backup. If you have old pipes, I live in an old row home, okay? The water backup that could cause damage to your basement, that's coverage that's optional. You can ask for it. If you have a sump pump, you have a bad storm and the sump pump fails, you get water through your basement. You can add that coverage. This is all pretty much one and the same. If you have a finished basement and a sump pump, it's a must. You have to have that coverage, and you can adjust that. This is another big one, roof coverages. When you're going to buy your house and you're going to look at it, take a look at the roof. If you can see it, really inspect that. Think about it with a really hard eye, because insurance companies right now are literally psycho about it. They won't insure properties with bad roofs. If you happen to be buying a house and that roof was 3 years old and they have proof, let your insurance agent know. You might get a discount on that. If you have a home and you put a new roof on, call your insurance agent. You usually get a discount. Most companies offer it. Final thoughts. Whether you're buying a new home or shopping for new insurance, be aware that all insurance companies will do an inspection of your home before they formally accept the policy. The first 60 days is the key period. We're going to send an inspector out to check my calculations and coverage, to check the condition of the property in the event that there could be something that may be a homeowner's claim in the future. Okay? If something comes up, you have to get that repaired or the insurance company will walk away from that policy within the first 60 days. In the state of Pennsylvania, once you pass the first 60 days, they can't drop you for any reason, even if you have claims like crazy. Once you're in, you're in. When you pay your premium, as long as you pay it, that's not to say that it won't go up, but as long as you pay, they have to cover you. So this first 60 days, they're going to take a real hard look at the property that you're buying. That's why the inspection is so key. Roof maintenance, trees overhanging the home, liability concerns like railing on steps. Now, some of this stuff is already mandated in building code coverages, but you might want to take a look at that because this could be something that would stop a homeowner's policy from being in effect. And all of this, any appearance of dry rot can cause to the policy to cancel in the first 60 days. And then with homeowners' claims continuing to rise, insurance companies are now looking for a better way to control their risk. That's why these first 60 days, they are going to be, I don't want to say meticulous, but they're going to take a real strong, hard look at the property that you're buying. Just because the inspection was passed doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to pass here, although it's a good indicator of whether or not it will. Because we won't go inside your home. The inspector's not going to go inside your home to check your pipes and all those other things. That's more for you to know. My inspector. Insurance inspector is just going to take a look at the outside and take pictures. That's it. Their inspector will. So that's good for you to know because that's a homeowner's claim waiting to happen for you. That's a handsome guy. And no, I don't look like Professor Burke. If you say that, so
John is a mummer.
Yeah, okay. Well, but I'm not in sequins and feathers there. I've been an insurance agent for about 8 years. It's important, just like Carolyn said with realtors, it's important that you're talking to somebody that's knowledgeable about this. This is something you need to have a phone call. And if your agent is not asking you questions in the quoting process, they may not know. You want to get as many quotes as possible and be active in the process so that we can insure you. It's important to deal with somebody that's local or somebody that you can call because here's what happens. When I write your policy, I have an office, I have a person, I have staff. When you have a claim, here's what I don't want to have to say to you. Oh, no, we never discussed that. You're not covered. Okay? XYZ guy out in Kansas, Jake from State Farm. Now, State Farm has agents, so I'm just using that guy in the call center. Anybody in a call center, all right? Anybody in a call center that writes your policy, when you try and get them back, you're not going to get them, okay? And it's important because if you put an addition on your home or you make upgrades, it's important to constantly communicate with your agent so that we're covering everything the right way for you. Can it be cheap? Maybe. Beware if it is. In homeowners insurance, you really do get what you pay for. If you go for cheap, when you have a claim, you're going to find out what cheap cost you. It's going to cost you out of pocket to repair your house the way you think it should be. Okay? We're here for questions, although not too bad. We only ran 5 minutes. I've got folders up here with additional information to kind of drill down. So please, I only have 20, but.
John will be playing Somewhere in the Rainbow for us now.
And I'll be DJing. Thanks for attending today, gang. Hopefully we're giving you some great information.